Anecdotes of Reddit presents what's seen as cute or harmless, but is actually very gross/detrimental. Uncontrolled small dogs. It seems like a lot of people think it's not necessary to train smaller dogs, and then they grow up to be stressed out, always barking, nippy little assholes. This drives me nuts. I have 2 huskies, 55, 60 I shall be yes. If they did half the things some of these small dogs do, they would 100% be labeled as aggressive, and I would have a ton of problems. It's also not fair to the small dogs. They have no idea how to be sociable/play with other dogs, and can hardly be pet or receive any affection. Just because they can't knock someone over doesn't excuse the behavior and lack of training. Friend of mine had her face ripped open as a kid by a small dog. She was maybe 5, just running ahead of her mom on a walk. Little dog came shooting out like a missile and went straight for her face. Tore it from cheek to chin. The kicker, the owner acted outraged that my friend's mom demanded the dog be put down. Those little dogs can be dangerous. Dads being really overprotective of their daughter's virginity and threatening their partners with guns. A couple months ago my dad texted me in a horrified panic that my sister had a boyfriend. The horror. I texted back, good for her. She's 24. I don't think that was the answer he was looking for, because he never replied, lol. My boyfriend and I, both 24, have been dating for over 2 years. When we moved in together recently, my dad ignored me for months, and his dad straight up asked why there was only one bed. That's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Wait until you meet my dad. My sister tried going to a festival in Long Beach with her boyfriend. We live about 4 hours away, and she wanted to rent an Airbnb because she'd be back late and they'd both be really tired. My dad said no because he didn't want his family to think that my sister was easy or that they were bad parents for letting them sleep together when otherwise they would have been extremely tired. My sister is 22. Bullying within families. Chances are that one sibling or cousin who is always the target doesn't enjoy it as much as the others. It can have lasting effects. I have a cousin who has some sort of autism and she's always being bullied by my family. I have stuck up for her in the past, but it's never stopped. It's normally small things like how she needs to take care of her face and how she'd be so much cuter without her acne, or if she started doing her hair. But sometimes people just outright say that she's a failure and just hate her for no reason. I tried really hard to help her get a job and to hang out as much as I could with her, so she knows that someone loves her, but it always breaks my heart hearing her cry about how she doesn't feel loved and she legit hates everyone. She ended up moving to Cali a few months ago, but is coming back this weekend to live with my other cousin and her sister. When small children of opposite gender become friends and everyone goes, or their boyfriend and girlfriend. Stop sexualizing small children. Teaching kids that opposite genders can only be in a sexual relationship and not just friends or acquaintances is not healthy. Or saying that small children are flirting with each other/adults. Just because a 2-year-old smiles at me does not mean they're flirting with me. Both of these things are almost solely done with opposite gender relationships. This assumes all of the children are straight, which is also not healthy. Oh, this little flirt, he loves ladies. Gross. Barf. He's a baby. Please stop. Forcing little kids to give a hug or kiss to an older friend or relative when they are clearly uncomfortable. This sets them up poorly for understanding bodily autonomy and consent. This is exactly why, whenever my friends tell their kids/s go give Auntie 30 a hug, I chime in with, only if you want to. I was abused because I was so scared of being rude. I'll be damned if I'm going to let it happen to any of my little cherubs. Edited for clarity. Marriage jokes like game over, ball and chain, etc. At best you just need to communicate better with your partner if that situation is accurately describing you, or at worst you're perpetuating a hideous stereotype and denigrating the person you supposedly love and respect. Just cut it out. Oh, I hate that. And the cake toppers, where the bride is dragging the groom. Yikes. If you feel that way, please don't get married. My husband and I run a business together, and it's tiring how many times people want to make jokes I must be the real pants of the relationship running the show at work and at home. Or they complain about their wife controlling them going out and say, but you know what that's like to him. No, he doesn't. He can go out whenever the fuck he wants, with whoever. He has lunch with his former female manager that he's friends with. It freaks out people thinking he's gonna cheat if he's allowed to have a friend that's a girl. Just let me know so I can make alternative plans and know when you're on the way home so I know you aren't dead. He's his own person. When coworkers bring their sick kids to work with them, I think a lot of my coworkers feel like that's a really harmless move on their part. It's always, oh they're sick, but I'm gonna put them in the conference room with the iPad and you won't even know they're here, I swear. I know this is highly dependent on where you work / if you're hourly or salaried / how your PTO works, but in my case, we have unlimited PTO at our office, and every cold / flu season, our boss is almost insistent that if you wake up and even think that you may be sick, to stay home, especially after our small company had to close business for an entire day a few years ago because one person got the rest of the office sick at the same time and everyone called out. Yet kids somehow are this weird gray area. I understand the argument that if their parents worked from home while their kid was sick, no work would actually be done because of constantly tending to the kid, but you make everyone else in the office susceptible to whatever your kid has because everyone knows that kid isn't just gonna keep to themselves, stay in the conference room all 8 hours, and they are going to touch everything, cough without covering their mouth, etc. Overfeeding pets. You're killing your dog, Nancy, and letting them clean plates after dinner and wondering why both of your dogs have serious health problems. Like, do you realize your dog shouldn't be eating spices, onions, and chocolate? You aren't doing them any favors. Those little ones see that sexualizes kids. Little Brinding can't even hold his head up. He doesn't need a 1C that says Little Heartbreaker or Future Stud or Pussy Slayer 69. I just saw a video of a dad telling his 4-year-old daughter that he's gonna have a good talking to this boy she apparently calls her BF. Her mom recording the video also laughed. And also photos with a girl and her brothers and dad holding guns with the caption meeting her boyfriend tonight. I think it's super weird how some parents are so against daughters having boyfriends. This just makes girls desperate for one, since it's so forbidden. Then they don't really have the best judgment in regards to the guy himself. They don't get a clear understanding of what a healthy relationship is, and it screws up their view well into adulthood. I know, because this is me. Guys I don't know, or barely know saying you should smile more. What? No smile for me. Smile. Cheer up and smile. Etc. I assume they think they are being helpful or cheering me up somehow, but it's really just aggravating to be told to smile on command. I do not feel like smiling when I'm reading, concentrating on work, standing in line at a store, etc. I've been told I was rude for not faking a smile before, because the guy was just being nice. Can't brush it off as being nice, since it's ridiculous to expect anyone to be super happy and smiley all the time though, and it's like saying there's something wrong with my expression if I'm not smiling. *IT**s possible women do this too. I've just never had it happen to me before. If I don't look happy enough they'll just ask me if I'm okay. I had some piece of trash tell me to smile, it ain't that bad, while I was waiting to go into court to get a protection order / file charges. Talk about irritating. Smile, it ain't that bad is even worse. It's so dismissive. I'm sorry that happened to you. I've heard of people responding with something like, but my parents died in a car crash last night, to make a point about how you never know what's happening in someone's life and how inappropriate it could be to tell them to smile. Romanticizing / idealizing the concept of high school sweethearts. I definitely know young girls who want to stay with their high school boyfriends and get married because they glorify sticking with the same person forever. I was one of them. In reality this is a very damaging concept and really stunts emotional growth. We should teach kids that dating has a valid purpose. Yes, my high school sweetheart was an awful boyfriend, and I was extremely immature and constantly seeking validation from someone who couldn't have possibly cared less. But I stuck with him for 3 years during and after high school because I desperately wanted to have one love and one love only. Posting pictures of children to social media. Congrats. Now your child has no control over their public image, and that info is accessible to predators. I find it especially disturbing when people make Instagram accounts dedicated to their young children, amass thousands to hundreds of thousands of followers, and then proceed to profit off of it. It's gross. My sister-in-law constantly posts videos of her toddlers to YouTube, many of them with the kids just in diapers, a few of them in the bath. Her channel is public, so anyone could view them or save them. Creeps me out to think of the possibility of a pedophile finding them. I mentioned this to her before, but she wasn't concerned. I'm a very private person, so I'm grateful I grew up before social media became popular.